Hi, I'm Nathan from Serious Geeks, and today's video is going to be about the new Uriel Ventris rules for Warhammer 40,000 Codex Space Marines. Specifically, these are Ultramarines rules. He's an Ultramarines character. He's a black library, limited edition miniature, and I think that's great. I actually quite like character models from the books that we know and love getting releases that you can use them on the tabletop. It makes perfect sense. I've never understood why they haven't done it sooner, but it's a great trend and I hope it continues. As many of you probably are aware, I'm a bit of an Ultramarines fan. I've read just about all of the Uriel Ventris novels and I've always enjoyed them. They've been very varied and they're quite interesting novels, and to see the rules on the tabletop is quite a nice addition. So let's have a look at the rules, look at the stat line. It's a standard Space Marine captain for a Primaris. It's what we expect. The decent toughness, from the sense that he's got a toughness 4 and 6 wounds, makes him fairly survivable, but he has only got a 3+ save and a 4-up and vulnerable. 4-up and vulnerable is obviously an assumption, but he is captain. If he doesn't have that, it's got to be on his data sheet. I'd be mad to say otherwise. So let's have a look at his war gear. He's got quite a nice bolter. Invicta, that is a very nice bolter. It's AP -2, mastercrafted, so it's basically a mastercrafted bolter +1. It's got decent range, just like a mastercrafted bolter, and it's got an extra pip of AP. So when you're shooting something with it, you're likely to cause 2 damage. It can kill a Space Marine in one go. It's a nice little bolter to have, and you can even plink away a couple of wounds off a vehicle. If you're at long range, you've got nothing better to shoot at. His melee weapon is the Sword of Ideus, and that looks to me like a really quality weapon. It's a decent take on a power sword, damage 3, which is critical in the edition. Anything that is damage 3, as far as I'm concerned, is consistent and also dangerous. It can do a lot of damage to other targets, can hurt vehicles, and can kill just about all infantry in one blow. Danger the characters. You get 2 wounding hits on most characters, even Primaris, and you're killing them. It's a really good weapon. AP -3, well, that's pretty standard, and in the Assault Doctrine it goes up to -4, so it's going to cut through power armor quite handily. It's only strength +1, which means strength 5. A nice weapon. It means that it's wounding a lot of targets on a 3+, which is always good, but some of the tougher cut targets like heavy intercessors or Scorpec destroyers, you'll only wound them on a 4+, but you will put 1 down per wounding hit. So it's a nice little power sword, but it's not game breaking in any shape or form. I mean, let's be honest, it's no Thunderhammer. Being a Primaris captain, he's got quite a lot of attacks with it. Shock Assault assists in that as well, so he's going to do a fair amount of damage with that. However, in a pure combat potential sort of role, he isn't actually that powerful. I mean, he's alright, he's good at what he does, but at the end of the day, if he's going to be a generic Space Marine captain, take the Gravis guy with a better bolter. Strength 5 is always good, and having a power sword, mastercrafted power sword, is also very handy. You want to take, if you want to take a Primaris foot slogger, take the guy from Indomitus with the relic shield. He's going to be a lot more survivable because, let's be honest, the 3+ armor save isn't going to last you very long. If it's a gunline you want, a Phobos captain with a super sniper build is going to be very effective. I can go over that at a later date. I probably will in a Tactica. So from that perspective, he's not going to be as useful on the tabletop as those models. They've said that he's going to come in at 110 points, so he's moderately cheap in that regard. But what he does have is a nice little special rule collection that could help him out a lot. He's got the usual special rules for a Space Marine captain. Rites of Battle, for example. He enables you to reroll hit rolls of a 1 to core units within 6. That's a very handy ability. We all know and love it. It means that if he's surrounded by heavy intercessors and other core units marching up the table, he can make them a lot more effective, and that contributes to the battle overall. Something very Ultramarine specific is Adaptive Strategy. This is a stratagem that for 2 command points enables you to choose the doctrine that you want a unit within 6 inches to effectively have. It's quite useful for giving tactical doctrine ahead of time, or if you've got, say, a Devastator squad, you give them Devastator doctrine and they get +1 to all their AP on their weapons. It means their heavy bolters, for example, going to be AP -2. Uriel Ventris, rather handily with his Unorthodox Strategist special rule, enables you to take off a single CP and cost of this stratagem, so you can utilise it more often to save command points across the table and get a more effective opportunist build for your local Space Marines around him. There is a bit of a problem in it, in that you're going to be in Tactical Doctrine most likely for 2 turns of game anyway. You're probably not going to need it for the first turn of the game because you're going to be out of range to really make best use of it. That's not 100% true. I mean, say you're marching up the table and you put a unit into Tactical Doctrine straight away using this stratagem. They get double shots being Ultramarines because they count as being stationary. So you can put more bolter shots up the table, which could be quite useful for a unit of heavy intercessors, for example. However, you're only really going to use it on units around Uriel Ventris, which are likely to be troops choices, likely to be infantry that have bolters who are going to want to stay in the Tactical Doctrine. So you're only going to use it for roughly 2 to 3 turns at best a game. At best. And it probably won't be used that much anyway. It's a nice little ability to have, and it's nice to have that flexibility, which is what Ultramarines and Uriel Ventris are all about, which is really cool. Overall, if I compare him to other units and other choices in the game, he's definitely better than Sicarius. Sicarius struggles. They both have Paragon of War, but Sicarius has got less attacks, so you can't make as best use of it as someone who's your warlord like Uriel Ventris. Paragon of War, for those who don't know, is an Ultramarines warlord trait. That means that each wound roll of a 6 does an additional 1 mortal wound, which is a very nice little ability, but it's best when you have a large amount of attacks. Personally, I believe that warlord trait is best suited for either a chapter champion that can generate at least 7 attacks, which is a large amount of attacks, and with his reroll to wounds against characters, that's a lot of damage he can put out with mortal wounds added on top, or a biker captain with Vengeance of Ultramar, which is a really quality Stormbolter relic that enables you to have 8 shots a turn, plus you've got the 4 from the actual bike itself, so 12 shots potentially you're taking advantage of Paragon of War. So I don't think it's the best choice to have him as a warlord in that regard. Also, killing capacity, he's not going to be as killy as a firstborn captain with, say, a Thunderhammer or a Relic Blade. Those, although that's slightly less damage, those models have the access to jump packs and Terminator armor and bikes, which make them a lot faster, make them able to get where they need to be, boost up their stats sufficiently, and basically are probably better all round for a close combat melee oriented sort of character. They also have access to storm shields, making them more survivable, unlike Uriel Ventris. Now, Uriel Ventris also, I think, struggles a little bit strategically with regards to, you'll take an Indomitus captain with a relic shield if you want a foot slogging tenacious model that's not going to die and going to boost your local troops, or you'll want something like a Gravis captain or a Phobos captain or whatever for certain sort of builds. So I think he struggles from being a little too generic, but what he does do is give you a little bit of flexibility, and he's not a bad captain for 110 points. I basically think that there's probably more competitive choices out there, especially if you're going to specialise your force, but Uriel Ventris, if you take him in an army, like a lot of choices in Codex Space Marines, it's just not a poor choice. I mean, there's nothing really there that is going to be absolutely diabolical and will cost you the game. He's going to contribute, and you'll have a reasonable captain for doing so. You might not be quite as good as certain other captains in other situations. He's flexible and he can do a lot. So it's a nice little addition to an army, and if you like Uriel Ventris, feel good about taking him. Also, last thing I want to say about him is they actually listened to feedback and changed his head. His head was awful before, and now they've made it so he looks like quite a good model, and it even looks closer to the book version anyway. I don't know what was going wrong with the head last time. Anyway, that's just a bit of running commentary on the new rules for Uriel Ventris. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a quick video, and I will catch you all soon. Please like and subscribe to help support the channel, and peace out.